Ever dreamt of being at the helm of a jumbo jet, soaring above the clouds as an airline transport pilot?
It's a demanding career, definitely. Requires a unique blend of technical know-how and keeping your cool under pressure.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're diving deep into today. We'll guide you through how to totally ace that airline transport pilot interview.
We're talking real interview questions, insights from RoleCatcher's career guide, and even a sneak peek at how their AI can help you fine-tune those answers.
Exactly. So if you're ready to earn your wings, let's get started. First up, let's unpack what the career guide tells us about the airline transport pilot role.
It's more than just flying, that's for sure. The guide really stresses the wide range of responsibilities an airline transport pilot handles. I mean, you're talking pre-flight checks, careful operations monitoring, coordinating with your crew, and making those crucial split-second decisions during emergencies.
Yeah, they really emphasize that it's not always smooth sailing.
It's not all glamorous, right?
Not at all. The guide's upfront about both the perks, like a great salary and travel opportunities, but also the downsides. Irregular hours, being away from home a lot, and the constant pressure to be at the top of your game.
It's about painting a realistic picture, making sure that this lifestyle really fits your personal goals and priorities before you even step into that interview room.
Okay, speaking of the interview, let's dive into those questions. The first one is a classic. What inspired you to pursue a career as an airline transport pilot? Sounds simple, right? But I bet there's a right way and a not-so-right way to answer this one.
Oh, definitely. It's your chance to really showcase your passion for aviation, but also show them you have a mature understanding of the profession. Avoid those cliches, like, I've loved planes since I was a kid.
Right, like Top Gun was my favorite movie.
Exactly. Instead, share a specific story, something that truly ignited that passion.
So instead of just saying Top Gun, maybe talk about how that movie sparked an interest that led you to research real pilots, or even take your first flying lesson. Show them the journey, not just the destination.
Right. Maybe there was a book, a specific one, about aviation history that just captivated you. Or perhaps you had a chance encounter with a pilot that left a lasting impression. Make it personal.
That's a great point. And here's where I think RoleCatcher's AI can really give you an edge. Imagine typing in your answer and instantly getting feedback on how an airline recruiter might perceive it. Do you come across as genuinely passionate, or are you just going through the motions?
It's like having a personal coach in your corner, analyzing every single word. The AI can even suggest ways to tailor your answer to highlight those skills that are super relevant to the specific airline you're interviewing with.
It's incredible. Okay, moving on to question number 2. What do you think are the most important qualities for a successful airline transport pilot? Now, this one feels like it could trip people up if they're not careful.
It's easy to fall into the trap of giving those generic answers like, I'm a hard worker or I'm a people person. But they're looking for something more, something specific, qualities directly related to the demands of being an airline transport pilot.
Right. They want to see that you understand the job inside and out. And this is where the career guide comes in handy again. It highlights crucial skills like operation and control, operations monitoring, critical thinking, and judgment and decision-making. These are great starting points.
For example, instead of just saying, I'm a good communicator, you could say, I understand that clear, concise communication is essential when you're coordinating with air traffic control and ensuring the safety of everyone on board.
You're speaking their language, showing them you understand the nuances of the role.
Exactly.
And if you're ever unsure about how to best articulate a particular skill, RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you pinpoint the right keywords and phrases that really resonate with recruiters.
It's all about presentation, showcasing your strengths in a way that aligns with what they're looking for.
Right, you're packaging your skills to make them shine. All right, let's tackle question number 3. Can you describe your experience with different types of aircraft? Now, this one is obviously designed to assess your technical know-how.
This is where your flight logbook becomes your best friend. You need to be ready to discuss the makes and models of aircraft you've flown, how many hours you have on each type, any relevant certifications you hold.
But what if your experience is mainly on smaller aircraft? Should you try to, embellish things a bit?
Honesty is always the best policy. Instead of trying to oversell your experience, focus on your eagerness to learn and adapt. Mention any experience you have in flight simulators, your familiarity with different cockpit layouts, or even just your enthusiasm for learning about new aircraft systems.
So framing it as a growth opportunity.
Precisely. Show them you're all about continuous learning and that you're excited about the challenge of mastering new aircraft. And hey, don't forget about RoleCatcher's AI here. It can analyze your answer and suggest ways to make it even more appealing to recruiters. It might even recommend mentioning specific training programs that the airline values.
That's a great point. All right, we've covered a lot of ground, and we've still got a whole hangar full of questions to unpack. But first, let's take a quick breather and then dive back into this airline transport pilot interview prep. You know, that last bit about training, it really highlights something crucial for anyone looking to become an airline transport pilot.
Oh, absolutely. The aviation industry is constantly changing. I mean, you've got new regulations, new procedures. It's like the learning never stops.
Exactly. And that leads us perfectly to question number 4, which is all about staying current. It asks, how do you stay up to date with changes in aviation regulations and procedures?
It's not enough to just be a good pilot these days. You've got to be on top of all the latest developments all the time.
For sure. And they're not just looking for a generic, oh, I read industry magazines kind of answer.
No way. You got to be specific. Show them you're proactive, that you're really seeking out that knowledge.
So instead of being vague, what are some concrete examples? The career guide mentioned publications like Aviation Week and Flight International.
Yeah, those are great examples. But don't just name drop. If there was a particularly insightful article you read recently, mention it. Let them know you're not just skimming headlines.
You show them you're really digesting that material.
Yeah.
And what about online resources? We're in the digital age. There's a ton of information out there. Would mentioning reputable aviation websites or online forums demonstrate that commitment to staying current?
Absolutely. It shows you're going above and beyond, actively searching for information and engaging with other professionals in the field. Don't forget about podcasts like this one either.
Hey, we do our best to keep you informed. Now, the career guide also mentions the importance of joining professional organizations like the Airline Pilots Association.
Those organizations are invaluable, truly. Not only do they give you access to a wealth of resources and networking opportunities, but they also advocate for pilots' rights and make sure their members are ahead of the curve on industry changes.
It's like you're not just keeping your license current, you're actively investing in your career and the future of the profession.
Exactly.
Okay, let's shift gears for a bit and talk about communication. Question number 5 asks, how do you handle communication breakdowns with air traffic control or other crew members?
This question goes straight to the core of safety and professionalism. I mean, in aviation, clear communication, it's not just important, it's critical. It can be the difference between a smooth flight and, well, a potential disaster.
You need to stay calm, think clearly, and find a solution, even when communication breaks down.
Absolutely. And this question is your chance to prove you can do just that. A great way to answer this is by sharing a real experience from your flight training.
So, for instance, let's say you encountered a situation where there was a misunderstanding with air traffic control during a simulated flight.
Perfect example. Walk them through how you dealt with it. Did you clarify the instructions, use alternative communication methods? Did you manage to stay calm and professional under pressure?
Show them you can handle the heat.
Exactly.
And this is another area where RoleCatcher's AI can be surprisingly helpful, even with a question that's really about soft skills.
Oh, for sure. That AI can analyze your answer, look for clarity, the right tone, even the use of certain keywords that really highlight strong communication. It can even point out areas where your answer might be misinterpreted or doesn't have enough detail for what those interviewers are looking for.
It's like having a personal editor for your interview answers, making sure you come across in the best possible light. Speaking of high-pressure situations, let's move on to question number 6. This one asks, can you describe a time when you had to make a quick decision in a high-pressure situation?
Ah, yes, the classic behavioral interview question. They want a glimpse into your judgment, your decision-making process, how you perform when things get tough.
So, picking a compelling story, but also one that showcases those skills in action. But what if you haven't had any life-or-death scenarios in your flying career yet?
It doesn't have to be that dramatic. Think back to your flight training or any other experience where you faced a real challenge that forced you to think on your feet. Maybe it was dealing with unexpected weather, a minor mechanical issue, or even just a tough landing.
Right. The career guide makes it clear that they're not just looking for a good story. They want insights into your thought process.
Exactly. Walk them through it step by step. What options did you consider? What factors influenced your decision? What did you learn from the whole experience?
And don't be afraid to admit if you made any mistakes along the way. It shows humility and a willingness to learn from your experiences.
Absolutely. And you know what? This is another area where RoleCatcher's AI can really help. Imagine being able to record yourself answering this question and get feedback on your delivery, your body language, even your tone of voice.
It's like having a personal acting coach in your pocket. Amazing how technology can help you fine-tune those subtle cues that can make such a big difference in an interview.
It's all about presenting the best version of yourself, showing them you're confident and capable.
And on that note, I think it's time for us to take a short break before we land this plane. We'll be back soon with the final set of questions in our Airline Transport Pilot Interview Deep Dive. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're back, cruising right along in our Airline Transport Pilot Interview prep. Ready to nail those final questions and really wow those recruiters.
Yeah, we've gone over a lot, from the ins and outs of the role to really crafting those answers that showcase your experience and your skills.
Right, we've laid the groundwork.
But there are still a few more things to touch on.
For sure, for sure. Let's talk safety. Question number 7 gets right to the heart of it, asking, how do you ensure the safety of your passengers and crew during a flight? It almost seems like a bit of a trick question.
Well, because, safety is kind of the top priority for any pilot.
Right.
But they don't want to just hear safety first.
Right.
They want to see that you understand the procedures, the regulations, that whole safety mindset.
So it's another chance to showcase that in-depth knowledge we've been talking about.
Precisely. Talk about your pre-flight routines, how you stay aware of potential hazards, your commitment to following those standard operating procedures. Remember that operations monitoring skill the career guide mentioned.
Right, like constantly monitoring those aircraft systems, double-checking instruments, being vigilant for any sign of trouble.
Exactly. You want to tell them, look, I am meticulous about monitoring those systems throughout the entire flight. I'm cross-checking instruments. I'm staying ahead of any potential problems. It shows them you're not messing around.
And not just going through the motions, right?
Shit.
You're actively thinking about safety every step of the way.
Exactly.
But what about when things don't go as planned? Those curveballs, those unexpected situations.
Well, that's what all that training is for.
Yeah.
Highlight any experience you have in simulated emergencies, how you stay calm, how you assess the situation, and then execute those emergency procedures.
And even if you haven't encountered a real-life emergency, it's about showing you have that knowledge, that mental toughness to handle those high-stress situations.
Absolutely. Now, ready for our final question. Question number 8 is, can you describe a time when you had to work with other crew members to resolve an issue?
Okay, so this one is about teamwork, right?
Teamwork, problem solving, that's essential in the cockpit.
Absolutely.
Being an airline transport pilot, you're not a one-man show. You're part of a team. And they need to know you can communicate clearly, listen to others' perspectives, and then work together to come up with solutions.
So what kind of story would illustrate those teamwork skills best?
Think about a time when you had to collaborate with others to overcome a challenge. Maybe it was during a flight sim, a group project in flight school, or even, outside of aviation altogether. The key is to really highlight those collaboration skills.
The interview guide emphasizes showcasing those communication skills within those situations. Like, did you delegate tasks effectively? Did you really listen to everyone's ideas? Did you find a compromise that worked for the whole team?
All fantastic points to bring up. And don't be afraid to show that you can take charge if you need to, especially in those moments that need quick thinking and decisiveness.
This has been fantastic. We've covered so much ground. Common questions, what those interviewers are looking for, even how RoleCatcher's AI can give you an edge.
Don't forget, while your technical skills are crucial, it's your passion for this field, your ability to stay cool under pressure, and that commitment to teamwork that'll really make you shine in that interview.
Well said. So there you have it, a deep dive into what it takes to ace that airline transport pilot interview. We hope you're feeling ready to take flight and soar to new heights in your aviation career. Until next time, keep your wings level and never stop reaching for the sky.